Hello everyone and welcome to my The Bold Fans channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to previews for the upcoming 3 weeks of The Bold and the Beautiful, BNB, from August 17th to September 4th, there may be some crash danger. Along with some fierce rivalries, there will also be some juicy secrets that could blow up. Steffi Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, and Carter Walton Lawrence St. Victor may have some hot moments in the Forrester CEO office during the week of August 17th to 21st. When their lovers look to them for reconciliation, Carter and Steffi could regret taking that painful step together. John Finn Finnegan, Tanner Novlin, will attempt to persuade Steffi to believe that he is putting Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown, in the past while remaining unaware of any sizzling that occurred with Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor. It appears like Daphne Rose Walton, Muriel Hilaire, may reconsider her decision to travel to Paris and hope that Carter shares her desire to continue their relationship. Carter should be happy about that, but his deceit about his intense love for Steffi should worry him. When Electra Forrester, Lania Grace, uses the Forrester name and pretends to be in charge of Melissa Dillon's, Sydney Bullock, future at Forrester Creations, another plot point will intensify. The arrival of Electra and R.J. Forrester, Brian Nicoletti, at Bikini Bar will ruin Dillon and Will Spencer's Crew Morrow evening together. The four of them will undoubtedly struggle with the tension that follows. The week of August 24th to 28th should also bring more drama for Steffi and Carter. It's easy to imagine Carter and Steffi having private meetings where they acknowledge that Daphne and Finn can never find out. RJ may also get the go on Electra's youth line once Steffi and Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., have had a chance to consider it. According to additional BNB leaks, Kelly Sullivan will debut as Darcy Dillon on August 27th. At last, fans will get to meet Dillon's mother and witness the nature of Darcy's relationship with her daughter. There might be a confrontation between Darcy and Katie Logan Spencer, Heather Tom, during the week of August 31st to September 4th. Darcy may become enraged if Katie insults Dillon in front of him. Naturally, the program has also hinted at a potential motorbike accident for Will. A serious mishap for Will would undoubtedly rock the canvas, regardless of Dillon's involvement. At last, Steffi could feel compelled to share something. Could Steffi confide in someone like Rebecca Budig's Taylor Hayes about her betrayal of Carter and how she's keeping Finn in the dark? Stay tuned for some major plot twists on The Bold and the Beautiful, according to spoilers. The next 3 weeks of The Bold and the Beautiful include an unrelenting roller coaster of emotional turmoil, smoldering grudges, and secrets that could blow up into public controversy in the high-stakes world of Los Angeles fashion and broken family allegiances. As rival houses circle one another and characters are forced into desperate acts of concealment due to personal problems, what starts out as the fallout from a tense foreign trip swiftly grows into larger conflicts about trust, ambition, and control. The Monaco trip's immediate aftermath creates a tense atmosphere. When Ridge Forrester discovers that Sheila Carter was present on the trip without Steffi's knowledge, his rage toward Finn Finnegan intensifies. Ridge approaches Finn with unadulterated rage, accusing him of putting the family in risk once more by letting his birth mother be anywhere close to the people he says he is protecting. The conflict is more than just personal. It confirms Ridge's long-held belief that Finn is a problem due to his conflicting allegiances. Carter Walton provides unexpected comfort to Steffi, who is still in shock after the betrayal of Silence. As they each weather personal storms, their moments of vulnerability become more intense. The heartbreaking medical diagnosis that Daphne may never be able to conceive weighs heavily on Carter. The diagnosis compels the pair to have unpleasant discussions about what their marriage can actually hold, since they had imagined a future full with family. By relying on one another, Steffi and Carter establish a subtle connection that is perceived by others and interpreted through their own prisms of opportunity and suspicion. Finn's attempts at making amends end in failure. He makes sincere pleas to Steffi, saying that he never intended to be dishonest and that Sheila's presence was a challenge he attempted to handle rather than welcome. Steffi pays attention, but the trust that previously characterized their relationship has broken down. While Sheila continues to hover in Finn's emotional orbit, she publicly questions whether forgiveness is really possible. The notion that Sheila's involvement during a perilous time in Monaco might have changed the story in unexpected ways adds to the drama. What some describe as a near disaster that Sheila prevented is seen by others as another proof of her cunning. The incident specifics are still kept under wraps, with those involved carefully controlling what is revealed and what isn't. The exact order of events, the severity of the threat, and the extent to which Sheila's actions were opportunistic or courageous all start to give rise to anxious cover-ups. Ever protective of his daughter and grandchildren, Ridge pushes for complete transparency while also figuring out how much of the facts the public and larger family can take in without jeopardizing Forrester Creations' meticulously built reputation. The younger generation's entanglements heighten the sense of rivalry in tandem with the marital breakdowns. Katie Logan becomes increasingly suspicious of Dylan's genuine motivations. Following Will Spencer's traumatic split from Electra Forrester, Dylan has placed herself in close proximity to him, providing support that Katie interprets as calculated rather than purely sympathetic. Katie confronts Dylan directly, asking if her motivation is to become a true friend or to gain access to the Spencer family's wealth and power. Electra and Dylan had a furious argument because she is still reeling from the breakup with Will. When Electra reminds Dylan that devotion within the Forrester circle is not optional and warns him about career repercussions, the confrontation intensifies. When Dylan and Will awkwardly cross paths with RJ, the animosity erupts into public areas. Electra and Forrester at Bikini. Unresolved past and conflicting claims of loyalty abound throughout the encounter. RJ, who is becoming more and more linked with Electra on a personal and professional level, observes the dynamics with a combination of calculation and protectiveness. He presents Zend with a novel proposal for a youth-focused line that might put the upcoming Forrester's generation in a more aggressive position against new rivals. In addition to being ambitious, the proposal quietly asserts RJ's increasing power within the organization. These human dramas take place on a broader stage provided by business rivals. There is still conflict as a result of the continuous rivalry between Forrester Creations and the Logan Fashion Company. Brooke Logan is caught between parental feeling and corporate devotion as a result of Hope's prior change in allegiance. Knowing that her sister has created something that could pose a threat to the Forrester Company continues to strain Brooke's relationship with Katie. Discussions on supplier relationships, design credits, and possible leaks became accusatory. Anxious conversations take place behind closed doors on the amount of material that has already crossed party lines and whether some alliances were made with the purpose of undermining. When executives and family members alike balance the expense of complete disclosure against the harm of exposure, cover-ups take on a business flavor. Ever the strategist, Bill Spencer observes the divisions between both houses and sets up his own family to profit. His worry over the younger man's erratic behavior and the company he keeps tempers his pride in Will's independence. The effects of previous decisions start to accumulate as the second week progresses. Carter notes with conflicted emotions that Daphne's choice to confide more fully in Ridge creates a new avenue for emotional support. With the seasoned empathy of a guy who has handled innumerable family crises, Ridge listens and gives sound advice without seeming to go too far. However, the confidentiality of these discussions encourages conjecture. Carter and Daphne acknowledge the diagnosis without letting it define their relationship in its entirety, and they come to a tentative understanding about their future. Nevertheless, miscommunication is possible due to the emotional distance brought about by sadness and uncertainty. Steffi keeps assessing whether Finn's attempts to make amends are adequate, especially in light of the lingering concerns regarding the Monaco event. A cautious narrative is maintained by those closest to the events, highlighting resiliency and minimizing the seriousness of what almost happened. The cover-up is more about selective emphasis and a group decision to protect reputations and maintain the illusion of control than it is about explicit lying. Rivalries intensify on several fronts. As Electra's career prospects at Forrester grow, pride and conflict are generated. Will feels further excluded as their union is strengthened by RJ's backing of her goals. Katie becomes increasingly suspicious of Dylan's ongoing proximity to the Spencers and starts to adopt preconceived notions about the younger woman's long-term objectives. Discussions regarding competitive strategy become more acute in design studios and boardrooms. Accusations of taking advantage of personal connections, stealing ideas, and stealing talent are becoming more common. While Ridge digs in against any compromise that could be interpreted as weakness, Brooke finds herself balancing the practical concerns of corporate survival with family loyalty. By the third week, there are real crisis moments due to the cumulative load. Careless choices and near misses start to show the emotional toll of unresolved trust issues, medical uncertainty, and business strife. Divided concentration and intense emotion culminate in a terrifying accident that compels multiple characters to take immediate action to prevent more harm. In order to reduce external scrutiny and internal guilt, the specific circumstances are strictly managed in the aftermath, with individuals involved coordinating their versions. As medical records, witness testimony, and personal reasons are meticulously handled, anxious cover-ups get more intense. It is unclear if the accident was the predictable outcome of past betrayals and rivalries that were allowed to fester, or if it was just sheer bad luck. While Finn is under further pressure to demonstrate that his priorities have finally come into line with the family's safety, Ridge's protective instincts rise once more. The new situation puts Steffi and Carter's supportive relationship to the test, making them both face how much they have grown dependent on one another outside of their respective marriages. The larger rivalries, meanwhile, don't appear to be abating. With one side certain that the other is acting dishonestly, the Logan and Forrester households delve further into their competing stances. Younger characters like RJ, Electra, Will, and Dylan serve as stand-ins for the greater struggle, their betrayals and personal affiliations feeding the corporate narrative. When Katie looks into Dylan's motivations, she finds bits of information that make more questions than answers, which makes her think about taking more drastic steps to safeguard her family. Bill Spencer determines the angles, prepared to take advantage of any vulnerability that emerges. As he navigates his own complex connection with the company's direction, Eric Forrester is once again caught between conflicting future visions and generations. The Bold and the Beautiful's characters traverse a terrain characterized by the collision of personal vulnerability and public ambition over the course of these 3 weeks. Trust is money, and people spend it carelessly. As people try to protect loved ones, hold on to power, or just get through the most recent shock, secrets proliferate. The terrible incident that could endanger many lives acts as both a culmination and a catalyst, revealing the weakness of the meticulously built facades that have allowed rivalries to grow and cover-ups to take hold. In the end, the permanent awareness that some truths, once hidden, demand a considerably higher price when they do surface may be the ultimate cost, rather than just broken relationships or lost revenue. Only the consequences that the individuals themselves have put in motion through pride, passion, and the unrelenting quest of control will continue to unfold in the upcoming episodes. No simple conclusions are promised. With a terrifying accident threatening the lives of several important characters, the upcoming 3 weeks of The Bold and the Beautiful promise to feature some of the most intense drama to date. Secrets become increasingly difficult to keep under wraps as tensions in Los Angeles continue to escalate, and a desperate cover-up might seriously jeopardize multiple relationships. Viewers will be left wondering who will survive the most recent round of betrayal, deceit, and emotional warfare as long-standing rivalries are predicted to burst into new confrontations. It looks like the upcoming episodes will start off a domino effect. Even though a startling incident could start off as an accident, its effects could affect several families. Characters who already harbor suspicions about one another can unexpectedly discover that they are linked to the same perilous secret. Someone can decide in desperation to conceal what actually occurred rather than telling the truth. In the end, that decision can cause far more harm than the actual accident. What kind of terrible accident is lurking around the corner is the most important question. The plot of The Bold and the Beautiful, which has never shied away from putting its characters in perilous circumstances, might result in a significant character suffering an injury at the most terrible time. Everyone may be left searching for answers if the accident occurs at work, during a conflict, or as a result of someone making a careless choice. The idea that some people won't be truthful about what transpired makes the situation much more unsettling. When someone sees the accident, they might know right once that being honest could reveal a terrible secret. That person can become anxious rather of requesting assistance or outlining the situation. An intricate cover-up could result from a snap judgment. Over the next 3 weeks, that cover-up might emerge as one of the main narratives. The individuals engaged may initially persuade themselves that they are defending a loved one. They could think that keeping one detail a secret will save a family from disintegrating. However, the narrative may become more challenging to uphold as investigators, acquaintances, and suspicious family members start asking questions. Every untruth leads to a new issue. Every explanation necessitates another. Soon, someone who had nothing to do with the accident at first might get involved just by agreeing to remain silent. This is where the trademark tension in the soap opera could intensify. It's possible that a character knows much more than they're ready to acknowledge. When someone comes too close to the truth, they could start acting suspiciously, dodging questions and altering their tale. It's nearly a given that such behavior will raise suspicions. Nervous behavior can reveal just as much as a real confession in a world where everyone has secrets. Major rivalries are anticipated to worsen in the interim. It's possible that long-standing rivals may once again struggle for dominance over their romantic relationships, careers, and children. Some rivals may receive the chance they've been waiting for due to the most recent crises. An aggressive counterattack may be launched by someone who has been pushed aside and eventually decides that enough is enough. The upcoming weeks may be about retaliation for some characters. A competitor could feel deceived, embarrassed, or deprived of something that was rightfully theirs. They might utilize the disaster and its aftermath as ammunition instead of allowing the problem to go away. If they find out that someone is lying, they might threaten to reveal everything if they don't get their way. The individuals involved would be in an impossible situation as a result. Do they tell the truth and ruin their own lives, or do they keep lying and run the danger of making things worse? A romantic connection becoming caught in the middle of the crisis is one particularly risky scenario. When one spouse finds out that the other has been hiding a significant secret, a seemingly solid partnership may suddenly start to doubt everything. In the Forrester, Spencer, and Logan universes, trust has always been brittle. Even seemingly healed wounds might be reopened by a single untruth. Forgiveness could be difficult if a character learns that their partner was aware of the accident but kept quiet. A significant altercation between two adversaries who have been waiting for the appropriate chance to confront one another could possibly occur. Expect emotions to erupt rather than a quiet discussion. Someone could finally express what they have been thinking about for months, accusations could fly, and past betrayals could be exposed. Even while the full truth may not be revealed right once, the encounter may indicate that the next conflict will be personal. Another terrifying possibility is that the accident could not have been as unintentional as everyone first thought. Someone can start to wonder if the event was the result of carelessness, or even intentional meddling. The entire plot might take a darker turn if there is evidence of foul activity. Imagine how shocking it would be if the person everyone assumed was just unlucky turned out to be the target. Everything would alter after that realization. A character who seems like a victim at first could end up being the focus of a mystery. Family members and friends may begin looking into recent threats, odd comments, and past disputes. Anyone with a motive would be considered a possible suspect. That can result in a traditional B&B mystery where no one knows who to believe. The pressure around the cover-up may become intolerable during the second week. Someone may ultimately come to the conclusion that they can no longer bear the secret. They might get ready to confess, just to have another character who stands to lose much more intervene. The plot may get emotionally volatile at this point. One might make an urgent plea. Someone can argue that telling the truth would destroy innocent people. Others might contend that it is morally difficult to keep up the lie. The question of whether concealing something possibly disastrous is justified in order to protect a loved one could cause conflict between the two sides. Additionally, certain characters may become more careless as the truth becomes more apparent. Evidence could be destroyed by one person. Someone else might approach a witness in secret. Another character could be made to appear guilty by someone else manipulating the narrative. A hazardous domino reaction could ensue. Someone who was never at fault for the first mishap could end up being the main suspect all of a sudden. Their competitor might take advantage of the chance to ruin their reputation. Romantic partners may start to question whether they have been duped from the start, and family members may turn against one another. There could be severe emotional repercussions. During this time, Forrester creations can also turn into a battleground. Personal grudges may clash with professional rivalries, particularly if someone feels that another character is taking advantage of the issue. There may be even more fierce competition for influence, money, fashion, and business. While everyone else is preoccupied with a disaster, a rival can determine that now is the ideal opportunity to assert control. That can result in an unanticipated alliance. Because they have a common enemy, two characters who would typically be at odds with one another may temporarily band together. However, such an arrangement would probably be rather brittle in classic B&B way. Both parties might be plotting their next move in secret, and neither would fully trust the other. A startling betrayal within a family could also occur. Someone might find out that a family member was aware of the cover-up but decided not to inform them. The emotional response may be disastrous. They could experience feelings of betrayal and abandonment rather than just anger. Relationships can be irrevocably altered by that kind of revelation. After years of protecting their family, a character might ultimately reach their breaking point. They could declare that they are done defending those who won't tell the truth. A sudden determination to reveal the secret, regardless of the repercussions, could result from such a moment.